Hello, everybody, and welcome to Moving People Forward Through Leadership and Tech with Connie and Lissa. My name is Lissa Daub, and I'm the owner of the Strong Impact Academy, and I provide coaching and training to business owners and leaders to improve their company cultures.
My name is Connie Clark, and I'm with Mission Computers, and I help people learn more about their technology so it's working for them and not against them. Teach things like Microsoft Teams and SharePoint and Excel, the whole Microsoft 365 suite. So I'm there to help.
Awesome. I'm really excited about our topic for today. We're talking about getting buy-in from your people, and this tends to happen every time that there's a change. And I know it's a question I get a lot, and I know it's a question that Connie gets a lot. So we wanted to kind of dig into this topic a little bit together and just, maybe provide some information and some tips on how you can do that with your company if you're making changes. So first, we'll talk about the problem. So what I've seen over many years is visionary leaders. Love them. They have fantastic, phenomenal ideas, but then they're looking to implement them right away. And that can cause frustration among the team and among employees because it feels like, oh, here we go again, flavor of the month. This is just change for the sake of change. And the staff becomes a little bit apathetic. Connie, what do you see when we run into stuff like this?
Certainly with the way the world these days, we've all been hit with a very big problem, and with it came a big problem with technology in that people had to move quickly to get to remote environments and figure out how they were going to share information. And so they adopted a program that I teach called Microsoft Teams. And, it's been very confusing for everyone because that isn't a product that has been familiar to most people. And so that's kind of part of where the problem starts, right? The familiarity is not there.
For sure. Yeah. I think that, probably a lot of people heard about Teams when COVID happened and didn't realize it was there before. So the solution, and in a perfect world, when you don't have to make that change and turn on a dime like we did with COVID, you would be able to, as a leader, be able to share your why with your team, to tell them how it's going to make us better. This is how it's going to improve our lives or improve our efficiencies at work. And you want to really involve your people with it. And you want to inspire by sharing the vision of how much better things could be. Now, with COVID, there wasn't time to go through all of these steps. So I think, Connie, you and I have had this conversation with, we're kind of a year and a half, we're going on 2 years of remote work and stuff like this and using things like Teams, and maybe the solution was put in right away. I think now might be a great time to go back and kind of follow these steps and really involve your people. What's working well? What's not working well? The whole future of work is changing. So, if you're staying with a hybrid model or a remote work model, you really want to figure out from your people what they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I think that our original crisis moment is over. I mean, we're in this now, and we now need to take a step back and look at, okay, we implemented stuff. We implemented it fast so we can get it out there and working. But now what can we do so that it makes sense for everybody? And so maybe there's some cleanup that needs to happen. And you're right, take that step back, do step planning and do this piece that's really missing, which is the vision. Like, I know the why. Most people would say the why for introducing something like Microsoft Teams was so we could have remote meetings. But a product like Microsoft Teams has so much more to offer than that. And that I think we're missing that whole vision of what that product can bring to the table. So that's where, and vision, I think we also have shared this before, Lissa, where we're talking about, the vision that isn't like a one-time thing. It's kind of ever changing, possibly. It's not static, it's dynamic, it's moving with you. And so we need to move our vision as we go through this and of course adjust things as we need to moving forward. So with the technology.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think any type of process change that you put in or, new software program, Teams, anything like that, I think until you get in there and you start to figure out the ins and outs of it and you get working with it, the
Mhm.
vision sometimes maybe changes a little bit, because maybe you start to realize that, oh, hey, Teams is so much more than, like you say, so much more than video conferencing and instant
Right.
messaging. It's this whole big beast. So the vision can then get bigger. It's like, really, how can we use this? And again, thinking about, what does work look like? Are we all coming back to the office, or some of us coming back to the office? And I
Mhm.
think that's where it comes down to, as a leader, is getting to know your people. You're going to have people that thrive at a work from home or a remote work environment where they're more productive. They enjoy it so much more. And then you're going to have others that, those extroverts that are sitting in their basement and they're kind of vibrating because they're just not seeing people enough.
Yeah.
So it's really about really understanding your people, getting to know your people, and having that communication with them. And having that communication when we're coming back, communicating about what's working for you, what's not working for you, what could be better. Now, also, when we talk about implementing a change and knowing your people, you're going to have your two camps, like we see here on this slide, where it's like, you're going to have
Mhm.
that group of people that's like, oh my gosh, let's do this. And they're ready to dive in and really
Also,
run with it, right? And then you're going to have people, the other people, that are be like, this is never going to
yeah.
work,
Kinda
and
like,
why are we doing this? And
mhm.
they seem really negative. So with those people that are super excited about it and they're ready to just jump right in and let's do that, you really want to engage those people, because they're going to help engage the rest of the team. These become your change champions. These become the people that are cheerleading for you almost.
Right. Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean the negative people that you ignore them or, bypass their stuff,
Mhm.
because chances are, I everything I do is strengths based. So there are people that have these strengths, and it's like, there's a specific strength that I'm thinking about, where it's like, they make backup plans for backup plans. So they're always looking at what could go wrong, what could go wrong, what could go wrong. There's some gold in that. When you're a visionary, and when you're a let's do this person, you need these people on your team to be able to help you see the blind spots, see the problems that you don't see, so that you can be proactive and you can actually put plans into place ahead of time, so that it
Mhm.
doesn't become this big roadblock and take 3 years instead of 3 months. And I know that you have comments on that too, Connie.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think you said it really well. And this applies definitely to my line of work, in that if I'm working with a group of people and they're trying to implement, whether it's Microsoft Teams or SharePoint or even Excel, or, any kind of program, you do have the let's do it people, which are all excited. And those people will get excited about all the tips and tricks that you show them and teach them. And of course, they will help you move everybody else along, because they'll help get the homework done and such. But the people that don't like it, I love it when I hear from them, and I try and bring that stuff out of them, because it's like, give me your problems, because I want to know what's holding you back, so I can help you see how this can be a solution. And I may not be able to put that nail on the head until you give me the example. So if you say, we're doing this and your system won't work, then I could go, oh, okay, well, actually, what you're doing here, we would do this over there, like, so you may have just a different perspective on it. So, but until they tell you, like, you kind of have to show the good with the bad. I was talking to someone today, in fact, she was saying, oh, I'm so embarrassed, I would never want you to, well, she didn't quite say this way, but she's like, I'm so embarrassed of what we do with technology, you'd just be appalled. I'm like, no, I like to see everything you do, because the stuff that you're embarrassed about is what I probably can help you the most about. Or, so I'm not saying that this won't work people, but they're also the people that maybe hide stuff. Like sometimes, I mean, we may need another person in here, the one that doesn't want to tell you anything, because they think, well, I don't want you to judge me. And it's not like we're not there to judge you. We're there to help you. So, but the more you tell us, the more we can help you. And so this won't work people, they're perfect, because they're the ones that are questioning. I don't know how that's going to help. And you can hopefully provide those answers. So, and that's what I strive to do, definitely, with when I'm teaching the technology side of things. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think too, and I think with the technology side, and even what I do as far as, leadership coaching and improving culture, you need to see kind of the dark and shady spots to be
Yeah.
able to know where to shine that light, because it's such a vast amount of things that it's like, I don't want to be pulling out of the air on what I'm going to help you with if that's not actually the problem. So I need to know,
Yeah.
right, what the problem is. And same for you with tech, for sure.
Yeah, I like that, pulling out of the air, because you're trying to give them all these examples. And if it's not fitting, it's like, well, tell me what's going on in your world so then I can give you the right examples, because I know how this can fit organizations, but I can really make it fit if you give me some examples, right? Or give me some scenarios. And so, yeah.
Exactly. So all you people that are watching this, when you're thinking about hiring a consultant or a trainer, yeah, be prepared to just, pull the curtain back. We want to see it all.
Yeah, and you should. Yeah.
So as a leader, here are some steps that you can follow as well. And you know what, even on a quick change like COVID, it's knowing your why. So you're presented with this obstacle of, okay, everybody needs to work from home. What does that even look like? So it's pretty clear, you know your why. Well, we have to send everybody home, but we still need to run our businesses. And then share that why. So communicate it. And it's always about communication, right? So it's sharing your why with your people. And it's like, we're bringing this tool in. So it's like, why don't we just use Zoom, or why don't we just use FaceTime on our phones? And it's like,
Right.
we're bringing this tool in because it actually is, a collaborative tool, and it's better. Making sure that you're understanding your why and you're sharing that, and sharing why that specific piece of software, why that specific change. And again, those let's get her done people, engage them, those early adopters, as your change champions, and listen to those naysayers. What do they see that you're not seeing? Involve your people throughout the whole process. And I'm sure, Connie, you've seen this as well when you're doing training. It's like, involve everybody, because as a leader, sometimes we don't see all of the things that our people see. We don't understand some of the challenges that they're facing on a day-to-day basis. So it's really important to involve them and ask those questions. Finally, definitely not last but not least, is provide everyone with proper training. And so proper training, Connie and I both have very, very strong opinions on this. And a lot of it has to do with getting your people to figure it out, or giving somebody, adding it onto their job that they're already doing. So Connie, why don't you jump in here and talk a little bit about this?
First of all, I mean, I really appreciate when people do take stuff on and they try and help their team or their colleagues as much as possible by educating them. That's kudos to them. It's just when that becomes a bit gray area, or it becomes a lot more responsibility than you intended it to be. So you're the one that takes on that job of, well, I kind of understand this, or I'll figure it out and then I'll teach you guys. Well, what does that look like? I mean, are you going to then truly make a training plan for everybody, and a training agenda, and put the time in to build the materials and get the buy-in from everybody, and have them show up for your sessions and have them do the homework and have them progress? Or is it going to be let's go to that session from our colleague, but I can't make it tomorrow, maybe you can just show me at my desk, or maybe I'll just ask you later on, or yeah, I came, but I still am kind of questioning this. So it ends up spilling over into all these other areas of grayness, where it's like, okay, well, you're the designated training person in the office now, but when does it stop? Where's the line drawn? Like, and how did you map out what that looked like? And are people sort of taking you seriously in that they're attending the sessions that they should attend, or they say, nah, you're around, they'll just ask you? And I feel like it's like, do you have another role in your job? Because is it infringing on that? So I see people that are, some of them are telling me my time management sucks because I spend most of my day helping other people, and then I still have to do my work at the end of the day. And so I'm working overtime or working through my lunch, or, and so is that what it was intended for? Because could you have just hired someone from outside? Plus, having someone from outside, like a third party, means that you have that unbiased person, and they're only coming in for those days, or so you better have your homework done, or you do want to be present because you're going to miss out. Maybe you could get a recording, but a recording is not the same when you can get your question answered directly. And of course, they have that expertise behind them. They don't have to present or prepare for that one presentation. They're preparing for presentations all the time, and they have all this expertise and examples they're giving to you because they're not just training you, they've trained many, many other groups of people. So they're bringing that to the table. So yeah, you want to weigh like, okay, well, I'll just get you to train because you've got some time. And it's like, it's not quite that simple, right? So yeah.
And you talk about the expertise. So, somebody's going to have a question. And if you're self-teaching yourself and then trying to train other people, you may not have the answer to that question.
Mhm.
And on the other side of that, that point that you talked about where they already have a job, they already have duties that they're doing and where they're supposed to
Yeah.
be. So, if it's like, oh, hey, can you show me how to do this? You're going to find that that person's going to be like, well, here, it's just quicker if I do it this time. So now you
Right.
have
Yeah.
the person that's just always doing it for nobody's really learning.
Yeah, yeah, that's sort of the underlying motto for how I train or have other people work with me to teach is that don't touch their keyboard, don't touch their mouse, because if you are, then you're not helping them learn it. You are showing off what you can do. So, and they're watching, which is fine, or you're presenting something to them. You're not really truly engaging them in the learning. So it depends on what you're trying to do. Yeah, the other one I was thinking of too that we discussed was that if it depends on this environment, but if I'm brought in somewhere to work with a group of people, I don't know anybody necessarily before that. I don't know the personalities so much or any drama that's happened or anything. It's sort of like everybody's equal. And then so my message is all about how can this help your organization? It's not about how can we make sure that, Tom's okay with what I'm going to say and Susie is getting her stuff, like I don't step on toes. I mean, you want to, of course, we're going to be respectful in general. If I know everybody, I know maybe I'm a bit more biased in my message than if I don't know everybody. So.
Exactly. And that leads us right into how we both help with the different work that we do. But
Right.
again, it's coming in with that no bias. And we want to take your stress away, right? Like you give us your problems and let us help you figure out that solution to them with our expertise and with what we know. And it's that third party that's coming in and again, not knowing the dynamics and the inner things. It's just, we're here to present you with some ways to move forward. So I really liked how you said that about it's about moving the organization forward, and it's not about making the boss happy or making sure that these two people over here are getting along okay, or any of those inner dynamics that always happen in organizations.
Yeah. Well, it's like anything else. I can tell my kids to eat something, but if they go to their friend's house and their friend's mom says, eat this, they come home and say they want to eat it. It's like hearing it from somebody else. For some reason has a bigger effect sometimes on people. So that may not be the right analogy to give you here, but it's like that fresh perspective, I suppose, is what I'm trying to grab at there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that fresh perspective is huge because if you've worked with somebody for any amount of time, then you kind of have your perception of what they know and who they are. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, so now you're the trainer for the new software program. What makes you so special? Whereas, so they may have some of their own inner bias in there. Whereas if it's a third party coming in, they don't necessarily know us yet. They'll get to know us and they'll get to trust us, and that's our job. But but I think it's really about taking away some of that stress from the people that are involved in the change, from the leaders that are trying to implement this change. It's just removing stress from everybody, because again, we almost become people that they can lean on, and they can share those problems, and they can say, what about this? And feel confident that we're going to have the answers for that.
Yeah. And no hiding stuff. Like the more you hide from us, the less we can help you. I mean, you just be as transparent as possible. So then that way we can have a fuller picture of what's going on and can truly see what we can do next to move you forward. So.
Yeah. And you and I have been doing what we do for long enough that we've seen pretty much everything when it comes to our world. We don't want to see all the things, but we've seen it all. There's zero judgment.
Yeah, exactly. So
I wanted to just end off our talk today with this quote. We don't want managers to manage our change. We want leaders to lead our progress. Anytime we're making a change within our business, whether that's bringing in new software or a new leadership development program or a process change, it's always about progress. It's always about moving forward. So let's have leaders lead that as opposed to just managing change.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, thank you, Lissa.
Thank
Great.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for joining us.